Waiting for that Netflix series.
How has there not been a 30 for 30 Donald Sterling?
Do they even do 30 for 30s anymore?
Okay.
No, but I get what you're saying. No.
Century.
Right. I'm like some type of a HBO documentary or
BTN in
Netflix.
60. I don't know. Just something.
Right. That would
right.
be fascinating.
I want to bring up the Lions because as we get towards the weekend, and yes, Lions and Eagles, no, it's not Cowboys Bucks and it's not Rams Bills, but it is one of the games that people are really talking about nationally. And obviously, we're all hopped up where we have varying degrees of optimism. I don't think anyone believes they're going to be just as bad as last year. I don't. I'm sure one of you will call in. But here's my question. The Lions are doing a deal where, and David, I want to make sure I get this correct. You buy a standing room only ticket to this week's game. They give you a ticket to next week's game. Is that how that works?
Guarantees you, yes, a seat for next week's game.
Okay, so you stand this week, you get to sit next week. But I want to focus on the standing room only part of this. Because the only time I remember in this town standing room only really being a thing is back in 2004, Pistons make the finals, standing room only tickets to see them play the Lakers were a $100 bill in 2004. That's a real market for standing room onlys. I want to ask this. Look, we all love football. Some of you have opted out of the Lions because of what they've done to you. Some of you still love this team. Whether you're like Rico, who's a Niners fan, or me, who's a Giants fan, or David, who's Steelers, or Kenny, who's Lions. I want to know from a Lions perspective. I mean, Rico grew up, born and raised Southwest Detroit. You just made a decision for your own emotional stability and mental sanity to opt out as a youth and not be a Lions fan anymore. Rico's one of those.
Yeah. When Barry said goodbye, I said, you know what? It's a good time to say goodbye.
I'm going with him.
Hey, Barry, any room in that car? Thanks.
So here's the question for the fellas and you, the listener. What type of game and what would have to be on the line for you to leave the comforts of your home, your TV, your setup, your couch, whatever it is, your bathroom, and buy a standing room only ticket? Now, I understand. You're buying a standing room only, so in the second home game, you get a seat. I'm focused on that first part of buying and going to a game with standing room only seats. What type of game would they have to be playing in for Rico Beard? Which I'm sure you're going to give the highest bar to clear because you're a man of immaculate taste.
No, I would simply say you're probably looking at one of two things, either an NFC title game down at Ford Field, because that means something. You win that game, you're going to the Super Bowl. That's historic. All jokes aside. So, yeah, if that's the case, I would pay $100 just to stand there and watch, knowing I don't have a seat. Or if it was a game where you had the Lions had a marquee player and the other team had that marquee player, and it was one of those battles where you just knew this is going to be a great game.
So
because you got top
be
quarterback versus top quarterback type of thing.
It would have to be like Bills, Chiefs, regular season.
Yeah.
Cowboys, Bucks.
Yeah, where you're like, okay, this is going to be a really good game.
Okay.
Because you know me, I like the environment. I like being down at the stadium. But, yeah, for the Lions, it's got to be one of those two things.
David, what type of game would it take the Lions to play for you to buy standing room only seats?
It'll probably be an AFC title game for me.
Whoa. What does it have to do with the Lions? We ain't talking Steelers. I asked what would the Lions have to do?
Sorry, I got a lot going on back here.
Yeah,
right now.
guys, we're doing radio. I don't know if you've been in this business for more than 5 minutes.
It would probably take a playoff game simply for the Lions.
Hosting a playoff.
That.
Yeah,
yes.
And you know what? I think the only, and I'd love to ask Kenny this question, but I don't know where Kenny is. He's probably installed too. But I just feel like, Evan, yes. What do you have? I mean, this is a kerfuffle back here. What is going on?
We're handling some business back here. I'm so sorry.
Stop going to New York and it would be easier, Michael.
Love you too. Kickoff with Boomer and Valenti Friday nights.
Michael.
Yeah, Evan just turned into my mom.
Dude, that's the one thing I love about going to your tailgates. Everybody calls you Michael. I just like
Can't change it.
Michael. I like saying it too. Hey, Michael. David, it's the greatest thing in the world. Everybody.
Simple pleasures.
Where's Michael? Oh, Michael's over there. Michael's at the grill. Michael.
But don't your parents reserve the right to do that?
They do.
I can't change it.
Oh, no. Man, I love your parents, but it's just so funny because everybody. Michael.
Well, back to standing room only tickets.
Yes.
I think
let me go in there and mess with David.
Yeah, go ahead, please. Why don't you go back there and choke him out? Let's just see how focused David can stay. I think you could also say, what if it's the last home game of the year, playoffs are on the line? Like the Chargers game when Averill had that fumble TD and they clinched a playoff spot. Merry Christmas. I don't know. That might do it.
You know what? At that point, Mike, it would depend on the cost, but
$100.
I'd watch it at home.
Okay. No, I'm just throwing out numbers for
I would
you.
watch that at home.
248-539-9797. Now, you know my answer.
Opening week against the Eagles.
There's no wrong answer. Because I would argue there's no game that I would buy a standing room only ticket for. You can make fun of me, call me fancy, do whatever you like.
I can't, but opening week against the Eagles?
I can't
coming off of
justify
last year's record?
In 2022. I cannot justify a standing room only ticket versus how wonderful the at-home setup is. Watching the Lions game with commercial break red zone.
Yeah.
Your bathroom, your beverages, your thermostat,
your clicker,
your rules.
If this thing goes bad, you can.
We got a situation in Baltimore.
Right.
So it's like double box.
I hear what you're saying, and it's a little different when I say this, but I was fine being outside of Comerica Park when they were in the World Series. I didn't have to be in my living room. I didn't have to be standing room only.
No, but that's
good.
a World Series.
Okay.
That's the Super Bowl for the Lions.
Okay.
All right, here's what I would say. I think the idea of them hosting a playoff game is the equivalent of a Super Bowl for this town because they haven't hosted one in 30 years.
So that's what's an NFC title game. Yeah, you know what?
It
would be a spur of the moment purchase,
but you would do it.
I'd do it.
248-539-9797. And the Lions are selling standing room only seats this weekend. And it's a deal where, you get the SROs this weekend. You're going to get a seat for the second home game.
The Commanders.
Look, I'm not knocking anybody. You can do whatever the hell you like. But I'm also not judging people for saying, look, I don't mind the idea. I'm staying home. I'm going to enjoy my team. I'm going to enjoy my Sunday. It is a big effort, or as Lomas likes to say, a big ask, to take your Sunday and be downtown all day. That's a lot.
Yeah. You know what I found out? The MSU game, which you take for granted watching the games. The information that you get.
That's right.
Of not knowing, okay, this guy's out, this guy's injured, you don't know that when you're there.
I had to rewatch the game to know that Windman had 4 sacks, not 2. I thought he had 2.
Right.
I had to rewatch the game to realize how good Van Sumeren was.
Right.
So there were certain things. I'm telling you, I was a man ahead of my time.
You were. No, you were. Because
I was like Thomas Edison.
You get used to it. Well, you just steal other people's ideas.
Oh, my God. I brought light.
Okay. He stole people's ideas.
Okay, bad example. Bad example. I was like Ron Popeil. Okay. Set it and forget it.
Right. But you get so used to it. I mean, even something as simple as the first down line. That you can see, okay, that you got to get to this spot. Try watching the MSU Penn State game in person when it's nothing but snow. And you have no idea what the first I don't know if that's the first down or not. I just know they're running. Okay, they're moving the chains. Okay,
I missed the yellow line.
Right. It's the little things that you've become accustomed to. And with the double box and the triple box.
Octo.
Yeah, that's a little too much. But I can see why now watching TV, a lot of fans don't go to games anymore.
And you're going to make fun of it. I hate the double box. Just put one game on the screen and stay there.
I like no. When it's both, if both teams are in the red zone, I'm fine with that. Now, if one team is there and the other team's doing something else, no. Just give me the most compelling thing. But man, if you're like, okay, you know what? Especially if you play fantasy football, you want to know who scored the touchdowns.
David, ticket text coming in. What do we got?
Says, I would definitely buy standing room only tickets, but only for a Game 7 in the Stanley Cup.
That's not what we asked. We're talking the Lions. Come on, guys.
I don't think people can wrap their mind around Lions and standing room only.
I think so.
It's difficult because the first thing I thought of was like, well, you know, I have stood outside of Comerica Park when Verlander threw a no-hitter. Does that count? But Lions, no.
Someone says, for standing room only tickets, I would do it for a Week 18 matchup, Lions versus Packers. Winner goes to the playoffs. That's Brian in DH. I would buy standing room only for Week 18, again, to win the division. So there's your standard. It seems like people are wanting Week 18 for division to do.
And I don't mind
It's
it.
got to mean something.
I don't mind it. That's fine.
And, you know, if it's the Packers, you got Aaron Rodgers, so you got a little bit of that star factor as well.
And for me, there's just not a game. I mean, if I want to go, like if the Lions, God willing, ever make a playoff game and host it, I don't have to like the team to just want that vibe, that juice, that electricity. I mean, like we all remember, like if you were lucky enough to be in the building, God, it was over 10 years ago now when they played the Bears on Monday Night Football. And Javid Best goes on rips off like a 70-yard run. That place was electric. I mean, it was like, wow, this place could actually be something. Like, I know young people don't remember, but like that 06 World Series, being in the stadium, I don't like the Tigers, but I like that. Like, there's a part of it. Like the other day we were joking around about Edwin Diaz's song, and I'm just like, Christ, could you imagine?
Oh, yeah.
The Tigers bringing in a closer, and the crowd is, A, it's full, B, everyone has their phone out, and we got some lunatic named Tommy Trumpet in here to play this thing.
What was Rivera?
Enter Sandman.
Enter Sandman, yeah.
Listen. That's always going to be a personal favorite. But I can appreciate as much as I hate the Mets.
I hated him so much.
I'm sorry.
The game was over. He walked.
Pretty much.
If you didn't have the lead by now, game was over.
Yeah, it was funny, too, is like during that Jeter documentary, they forced you to relive the 01 World Series where they lost to the Diamondbacks. They were up 3-2. They go to Arizona, get destroyed in Game 6, like 15-3. Game 7 happens. They take a 2-1 lead. I mean, Schilling was unbelievable. I think they brought Randy Johnson in relief.
Oh, yeah, they did.
Alfonso Soriano goes deep. It's 2-1 Yankees. They bring in Mo to close out the World Series. And it was the biggest bleepity-bleep disaster on the planet. Bloop single by Gonzalez.
Yeah, it was the weirdest hit that won them the World Series.
And Joe, I think it was Joe Buck made the comment that it was Rivera's first run given up in the postseason or blown save since 96 or 97. It was like a 5-year run of the Yankees basically winning everything all the time.
Well, you didn't think Jeter wanted to be upstaged in his own thing, did you? He's the captain.
I'll leave it alone. I'm not a Jeter guy. 248-539-9797.